Good morning, folks. We are out here on beautiful Lake of Egypt. Me and my man Jerry. We got out of the tin boat for a little bit and we're in the Ranger. It's cold. Air temperature like 33 degrees. The wind is blowing. Overcast conditions. It's not supposed to really clear up throughout the day. Just kind of, you know, partly cloudy, that type of deal. Water looks pretty clear. You know, the lake is up about a foot probably. Water's about 4 to 5 foot visibility. And we have got, what do you got water temps up there?
48.
Okay, we've got about 48 degree water temps. You know, we're very tail end of December, moving on into January. It's been an unseasonably warm December. So there's still a lot of fish that are kind of in the late fall period. We haven't quite got into the winter thing, but we're gonna go out here and see what we can figure out, and then we will let you know what's going on. Hopefully we catch a few fish. We're gonna have fun. You know, got the next couple days off, so it's nice to not have to go to work. It's been a crazy, hectic work week for me, delivering parcels and that kind of stuff. Got snot running on my nose. That means we're gonna catch fish when you got snot running on your nose. So here we go.
Oh baby, you got what I need. There you go, right where you're supposed to be. Alright, throwing a little A-rig.
That's fun. Haven't really done this yet this year. Just covering water, fishing shallow, wind's blowing, it's cold out here. But catching a few fish.
Sandwich walks into a bar and the bartender says, "Sorry, we don't serve food here." I think that's what's wrong with the world today.
Sorry about the audio, but the wind was blowing like 20 plus miles an hour, gust over 30, and it was cold. Air temps were like low 30s, and with that wind chill, it was sub-freezing. So we were bundled up, and we just decided we were gonna fish an A-rig for the most part, at least for the first couple hours. Just cover some water, fish the wind-blown banks, and kind of stay up shallow and just see if we could figure out if those fish were up and biting.
Through here pretty quick.
Yeah.
There he is.
Little guy. That's what was hitting us back there, I bet, little bitty ones. Wind blown point. Definitely wind blown. Jesus. This lake's gonna get a lot better in the next couple of years if that grass stays in here. There he is. That's a littler one. Man, they are smoking it, dude, when they eat it. Another decent fish. Nothing wrong with that fish. Another keeper. Another keeper. I mentioned at the beginning that we've had an unseasonably warm December. You know, typically the water temps would be down in the low 40s by now. It started out 46 in the marina, but I think Jerry's transducer was just adjusting to the water temps because it ended up being like around 50 degrees as we moved on into the day. And that's just really warm. You know, the fish are really spread out right now. You can catch fish doing a lot of different things. There's definitely a deep bite going on, but there's still a lot of fish up shallow that just haven't made that, you know, migration offshore. So you can go over there, got a lot of different options. But today with that wind blowing, we just decided to stay shallow and we fished as long as we could stand it. And then we ended up taking a break and getting out of the wind after being out there for a while. You just gotta, sometimes you just gotta relax. It's moving really fast. Everything's happening fast when you're out there in that wind, especially a wind that's blowing like 20 plus miles an hour. You can't really relax. You know, you gotta keep casting. You gotta constantly stay on the trolling motor and just be cognizant of your surroundings. So, you know, after a while you do need a little break. Yeah, I've been getting those too. I can't tell if I'm ticking the grass or if it's actually fish.
That's what I was trying to figure out.
Water temp 49. Oh God, I got slammed right there. I missed him. Yeah, there he is. Came back and got it. Damn, that fish got some shoulders on him. Look at him. That fish came back and grabbed it. I got him on top of the head. Yeah. That was cool.
It's a nice fish too.
Yeah. Oh, he got off. It's all right. He was up there shallow, man. That's like 4 foot up there. Hit it twice. There we go. Roll Tide. Not really, but Alabama rig, get it. Let's talk a little bit about the A rigs that we were throwing. We were both throwing the Flash Mob Junior. You know, the Flash Mob Junior it's a simple bait. It's readily available. You can pick it up just about anywhere, and it's pretty inexpensive. They make some better ones out there, but in my opinion, for the little A rig fishing that I do, the Flash Mob Junior has just been something that I've fished over the last couple years. As far as blades or not blades on an A rig, think about it as kind of like a spinner bait. If you've got really slick conditions, bluebird skies, you might be better off throwing an A rig without blades. On a day like today, you know, we had kind of overcast conditions, the wind was howling, you need some flash. Same thing with the spinner bait. You know, you got some wind and you got some overcast conditions. that's when the blade is going to shine. As far as line, if you're fishing shallow and the wind is blowing, 50-pound braid is the way to go in my opinion. If the fish are out a little bit deeper and you've got slick conditions, I know 17-pound fluorocarbon is kind of the way to go. Some people say there's no difference. I don't know. You just have to probably go out there and try it. But if you're fishing an A-rig and you're around the fish and it looks right and you're not getting bites and you're throwing braid, I would definitely switch up to 17 or 20-pound fluoro. If you've got some kind of rowdy conditions out there, I don't think you have to have fluoro. I think you can get by with braid. You know, the good thing about braid is if you make a long cast, you got no stretch, you can get a hook in those fish, where fluorocarbon is going to have a little bit more stretch and, you know, you may miss a few fish. 7.4, you want something with a little bit of tip. You know, I like this. This is a Quantum G-Force rod. You don't need a really high-end rod to throw an A-rig. You just need something that's light as far as the weight, because it will wear you out. If you can get by with like a 7.4, I think that's the way to go. But you need a little bit of tip. You need a little bit of tip that you can make long cast, and when that fish hits, it loads up softly, which allows that fish to engulf the bait. That's real important. If you've got too stiff of a rod, you're gonna miss a lot of fish. I mean, it's important to have a, you know, lighter action rod, in my opinion, especially with braid. You know, if you got braid on, you don't need a really stiff rod for sure. You can like downsize a power or something.
Yeah, he's been caught before. That, folks. That fish hammered, man. Head shaking, full throttle. Just we're focusing on these deeper banks. The wind's blowing in here. It's super cold out here, but these fish are pulled up a little bit shallower. Yeah, that's a good quality fish. A-rig fishing in the winter, baby. Good stuff. 1/8 ounce heads. 5 baits. On Egypt, you can throw 5 baits. You need to check the stipulations, the state regulations, depending on what state you're in. In Missouri, it's 3. Most lakes in Illinois, it's 2, but there are a few lakes over there where you can get by with the 5 rig. I think Kincaid is another one. They allow 5 hooks on your rig, and Egypt is a 5 hook deal. I was throwing these swim baits made by Hawgz Custom Baits. This is like a 3.5 inch swim bait. This color right here has always been good. It's kind of a white ice, sight flash type color that Eric came out with. Really great color all around conditions. And then I had this kind of gizzard shad color. I was just kind of mixing it up. I've got chartreuse on the tail here in this middle one, and that's the deal. A lot of times you want the bait in the middle to be a little bit different. You know, put some chartreuse on there. Maybe you want to go up a size. If you're throwing 3.5 inch, you might want to put a 4.5 inch in the middle, just something a little bit different. And I've also got 2 different ones on the bottom there. So you're kind of playing around, experimenting. I don't usually get too crazy, but you know, I don't do this all the time, but over the years, this has kind of been how I've set my rig up. So maybe 2 different colors, maybe 2 different size baits, but all 1/8 ounce heads on that 50-pound test. And the whole thing with an A-rig is a lot of times you just cast it out, reel it, steady, as slow as possible, and that's how you're going to generate your bites. There are times though when you will have to impart a little bit of action. You know, one thing about the Flash Mob Junior, it's got kind of soft arms, so it will flex a little bit. When you pop your rod tip, it will actually cause these arms to kind of compress, and then they'll flare back out. It looks like when a bass is chasing, or any kind of predator fish is chasing a ball of shad, and they get close, they'll kind of tighten up sometimes. So you're getting that tightening up, and then you're getting that flare. And it's just it's a secondary action that seems to trigger bites. But a little bit of rod pop in action, sometimes slowing it down and then speeding it back up will trigger strikes. So you kind of got to play around, and usually the fish will prefer one action over another on any given day. Fish? Yeah. There you go.
Give me a break on that fan motor.
Oh man, I was enjoying it.
Holy cow.
And I like a 7-to-1 or 7-to-5 gear ratio reel, just because you can do more with it. You can always slow it down if you need to. I tend to just lean towards that 7-to-1 on just about any technique. I don't like the slower reels because it kind of limits what you can do with it. I think you can be mindful and you can slow down your retrieve. And a lot of times that's it, is slowing down the retrieve. I've been in a boat where one guy's catching them, the other guy's not, both throwing the same exact rigs, pretty similar swim baits, and one person is fishing it slower or adding a little twitch or something. It's just something, little subtle things. It's like jerkbait fishing, you know, you kind of got to get a cadence down with the A-rig. But typically the slower you can go, the better off you are in most situations. And I mentioned these jig heads earlier. You don't have to buy fancy, you know, swim bait heads. These are just shaky heads. Just an 1/8 ounce shaky head is all you need. If you want to get swim bait heads, there's nothing wrong with that. It's perfectly fine. And I tend to like a light to medium wire hook. Not a big fan of really beefy hooks. I just don't think you need all that on an A-rig. If you've got the right rod that's got, you know, a soft tip, you can just take it easy. A lot of times you can just keep pressure on those fish and you're not going to bend these hooks out. But the thing that I do like about the lighter to medium wire is when you do get hung up on the bottom, you can bend the hook out if you need to. You can just get up close to it, put pressure, and bend that thing out. If you do get hung up, before you put that pressure on, try to just troll up to the spot where you're hung up and get on the back side of it and just kind of shake it. And a lot of times that A-rig is going to come off. If you can't, just bend it out, and these light wire, medium to light wire hooks will just bend straight out, and you know, you can just get back to work.
There he is. Wow, Mom, look at that. I think it's from Ron ripping his spoon through him or something. Better than I thought. Not big, but drop shot right in the top lip. Ooh, look at that. Well, drop shot rig.
We caught a few fish doing other things besides the A-rig, but the A-rig bite was definitely the bite today. I mean, I think you probably could have thrown a spinnerbait or maybe crankbait and caught some fish too, but there's something special about that A-rig. It's just a, you know, it's a stimulating bait. There's so much going on that the fish can't help biting. But when we got out, you know, a little bit deeper, got out of the wind, the bite got really tough, and we should have just stayed with this all day long. But God, that wind just wears you out. You have to get out of it for a while. And you know, fishing's about relaxing as much as it is catching. You know, you go in hardcore and you stay out in the elements for a while, but after a while, you know, you need a little break. You need to be able to relax and kind of just enjoy the day. So that's what we did for a little while. And you know, that just wasn't the bite. If we were just going out there to catch as many fish as we could, we would have just ran that wind all day long, just focused on the points and a little bit deeper banks. Well, that's a wrap, folks. Short day, caught a few nice A-rig fish. We kind of stayed with that A-rig for the first hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, then we got away from it. As we got away from it, we quit getting bites. So, you know, the thing was shallow fish on wind-blown points for the most part. That's where we got most of our action. So thanks for checking out this video. Give me a thumbs up if you appreciate the content. Subscribe to the channel if you have not. We do live streams on Monday nights at 7:30 Central. Got a lot of great guests. This is going to be going on throughout the winter. We're going to have great giveaways too. So if you're not busy on a Monday night at 7:30 Central, come by and check it out. And we'll also be doing a lot more winter stuff. We're going to do some spoon videos. I'll probably dive into the A-rig a little bit more. Got blade baits I want to play around with. The big spinnerbait's going to come into play, jerk bait, that kind of stuff. Several more videos coming out throughout the winter, and as long as the ice does not take hold of the lakes, as long as the water does not get hard, I'm going to be out there fishing regardless of the conditions. So appreciate everything. Till next time.